Hey, so I finished up the install on your custom MHS installed with Proffie v2.2 with a crystal chamber chassis. So just kind of want to do a quick little demo on some of the features of this new install. So here's your MHS hilts. We have the two buttons here in the graphics clamp. Got our main switch up here, as well as the auxiliary switch down here. And there we have a NeoPixel connector to connect with the LED NeoPixel blade. And then to reveal the crystal chamber section itself, you just unscrew the ribbed body piece, like so, to reveal the crystal chamber section of the chassis. So there is the gold rub and buff crystal chamber insert with a quartz crystal. Up here we have a 4-rail chassis connector to interface with the NeoPixel connector up there. So you see that there are set of pins or a pogo pin PCB in there that interfaces with this. The main chassis is another separate piece that is housed underneath the Graphics clamp section, so main chassis is over here. To access that, just unscrew the pommel, like so. And this is another removable piece of the chassis setup. So this one is housed underneath the graphics clamp section, as well as it's partially inside the pommel. So just slide out like that. Here we have our Proffie v2.2 board with our black chassis. We have another chassis connector PCB here that interfaces with the crystal chamber section in there. So that section kind of stays permanently inside the hilts, and this part is removable. Down here we have our 28mm bass speaker and a kill switch to cut power to the board when the battery is in. To this side I added two switches as well. Main switch over here, auxiliary switch over here. That way you can actually kind of operate through some of the operations on the Proffie board without needing the chassis fully inserted into the hilts. So let's put a battery in here. So this chassis setup does take a protected 18650 battery. This one is a Keep Power branded one. I just rewrapped it in red for my personal test batteries. So when inserting the battery, make sure that you insert it negative first, because on my chassis there is a kind of a little lip here that helps to hold the battery in a little bit tighter. So like putting the flat side negative in first, compressing it, and then sliding into the positive, like so. And then to remove it, I usually like to dig my fingernail into the positive end, and it should come right out like that. And then currently the kill switch is in the off position to the left. If you toggle to the right, it turns on. I also added a little greebly work here for off and on power symbols. So currently the Proffie is preloaded with some of the sound fonts which already came on the SD card, so I added blade styles to those. So when inserting the chassis, I like to insert it into the pommel first because there's a ton of space that gets used up by the chassis. So just slide it all the way into the pommel until it stops. And then you can slide it into the clamp section, like so. So make sure you insert it at the PCB side first. So just insert it. It doesn't matter what kind of orientation it is in because it is a radial connector. So just screw the pommel in all the way. And it should make contact with the crystal chamber section. So let's remove that to reveal the crystal chamber. Like that. So currently for the sound fonts, I have it set up so that it does a slow pulsing effect while the blade is off. And then once the blade is ignited, it mimics the styling for the main blade. So these are some Cal Kestis Survivor fonts on there. So let's insert the emitter section, and then I'll put a blade in here. So here I have a short kind of test blade. So this is a NeoPixel blade. It's got the 3-rail connector there and interfaces with the NeoPixel connector in there, which is also illuminated, like so. So I'm gonna insert the blade in, and the way I have the NeoPixel connector set up is that there's an extra pin that makes contact with the blade, and once it knows that it makes contact, it's gonna play a sound to indicate that the blade is inserted. So I'm gonna slide it in like that, so that's a blade insertion sound, and then when it's removed, it plays a blade removal sound. So slide that in, make sure it's compressed all the way, and then tighten in this set screw over here. So blaster blocks, flash on flash. You gotta go single swing, as well as accent swing. And then to cycle through the fonts, you just click the auxiliary button while it's off.
Orange. Yellow. Purple. Magenta.
So I have it so that the survivor fonts are first, and then kind of light side fonts, which were already on the SD card, and then it goes into the dark side fonts, and then a Darksaber font at the end.
General Kenobi. I sense so much anger.
So this one's a Luke training font from A New Hope.
Kenobi. Dark Sith Red. I am told it is the Darksaber.
You are fighting against
Blue.
So there you go. There's your Proffie installed custom MHS saber with a crystal chamber chassis. I'm going to send you some resources on how to configure the Proffie, as well as the actual config that I've already loaded onto the saber. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for letting me work on this, and may the Force be with you.